Do you remember the first time you went to a Hasidic community?
Yeah, it was a very strange experience. So Facebook, like a lot of things in the Yiddish world, was my entry point. I was posting to different random Jewish groups in Yiddish. Do you understand Yiddish? One day, a Hasidic man writes me back, and a picture is a picture just from the news of a guy at a protest. You know, not an angry face, but a picture I knew was definitely not the real picture. And I began communicating with this guy in English. He became very clear that he's not only a closet intellectual, but has read more widely about more things than just about anyone I've known. But entirely at his local branch of the New York Public Library. Or not the local branch, but two branches down where no one would see him walking in. And I knew him as Ari. So I'm writing with Ari, and I'm writing and writing and writing. Months go by. Finally, I talk to him on the phone. He invites me. I explain my project. He invites me over for Shabbos. He's, I guess he had just turned 18, so he's living with his parents and all his younger siblings. He invites me over his house, and as a little, this is odd, but I decided to go. Before I meet him, he says, "By the way, my name isn't Ari." He tells me his real name, and he sends me a picture of what he really looks like, and so on and so forth. And I meet him, and I meet his friends, who are all Jews who grew up in Borough Park, mostly 16 to 19 at that point, who are questioning, their community and ways of life. And it was fascinating. It was an entry point. But from them, I went on and met people who weren't questioning the Hasidic way of life. So I'd meet someone who was on the outside, and then I'd meet their cousin who wasn't on the outside, and then I'd meet their cousin who wasn't on the outside, and all of a sudden, I'm in the middle of the community. One thing I didn't understand is how important, dressing and looking the part was in the beginning. I showed up wearing a green suit for Shabbos. And we went to the Baba Tish, I believe it was the 45th Street. I don't remember if it was the 45th or 48th Street group. They had just split at this point. In case I walk in, we go up on the bleachers, and they have these bleachers going high, 12, 14, 16 layers up. I call up. This guy says in Yiddish, "Who is this Gentile walking around with these terrible clothing?" I turn to him, I say, "Rev Yid, seid mir Meuchel, aber ich verstehe jedes Wort, was ihr sucht." Sorry, mister, but I understand every word you're saying. The guy almost fell off the bench. Fell off the... it was wild, So then, I had a small crowd around me, asking me questions and interrogating me, and after that, I knew to dress in a way that they wouldn't know I wasn't one of them at 50 yards, but only at 5 yards. So I'd put on a suit, I'd wear a yarmulke, I'd look more modern Orthodox. One time I was talking to a rabbi. In the middle of it, he grabbed me and feels me here to see if I have tzitzis on, and I didn't, so. But, telling the truth, and you talk to anyone at any length. I always told people exactly what I was doing, and they were usually very surprised to find out that someone was studying Yiddish in the university. The university bezahlt dir zu studieren uns. The university teaches you to study, pays you to study us. Wow. So they couldn't quite understand why they were an interest, but there was a lot less people felt a lot less threatened than I would have expected.